Hey everybody, welcome to the show, Board Game Reviews. This is a YouTube channel all dedicated to the tabletop gaming hobby. And this video is part of a video series looking at the game of Dungeon Decorators. Now, Dungeon Decorators is a 2 to 4 player tile-laying game from Slugfest Games that plays in about 60 minutes. In this video itself, I'm going to show you some sample gameplay from the game so you can see this is a game that you and your gaming group is going to enjoy. Although, if all you really want is just a quick overview, a review, or actually learn how to play the game, check out the other videos in the series. Come back after the break for a sample gameplay for Dungeon Decorators. Now this game of Dungeon Decorators right here is set up now for a 3-player game, and I'm going to try to do something pretty cool with the camera, and it's probably going to fail miserably, so if it does, make sure you leave comments down below so I know if this is something you want to see in the future. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the gameplay from nice overhead and show some direct gameplay using the yellow player here. But the basic idea of the game of Dungeon Decorators is this is a tile laying game, and every single player is trying to build a dungeon to entice a dungeon lord to move in and gain victory points. Whoever has the most amount of victory points in the game is going to be the grand winner of the game. The game is going to play out over rounds, and at the start of every single round, players are going to take slots that are going to allow them to get certain dungeon tiles. They'll use these dungeon tiles in their specific dungeon and build their dungeon out based on shape goals they may have, based on decoration goals they may have, which are going to give them victory points, but also they're trying to get the attention of 2 dungeon bosses we're going to randomly select at the start of the game. This game is going to go on playing using about 100 plus tiles that we have split up between 2 bags. We have the blue bag right here, and then we have the red bag right here. We're going to start the blue bag right here, which has 50 tiles in it, and the red bag has the other 50 tiles plus some end game triggers, and these are going to be hourglasses. Once we draw the 3rd hourglass, that's going to be the final round for the game. We're going to add up our victory points with bonus victory points based on how much we satisfied the desires of the dungeon bosses that we were trying to attract for the specific game. So we're going to get victory points as we play the game by shape goals, building our dungeon, certain layouts, by having decoration goals, by having decorations in our dungeon itself, but also at the end of the game, we're going to gain extra victory points based on stars, based on the color, and also based upon the makeup. That's going to give us some extra victory points. Whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game is going to be the grand winner of the game. So what I have here is I have a setup of a starting game, and I'm going to show you the setup right here, showing the decisions of the players, and we're just going to go and start this 3-player game of Dungeon Decorators. So the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out which 2 dungeon bosses we are trying to entice as individual players to our dungeon. And again, this is a very lighthearted game, so a lot of the theme and the graphics are going to be very lighthearted. But let's just make this nice and easy. I'll just flip over these decks. And the first one we are going to get is going to be Diana the Creepy Doll. Now, Diana the Creepy Doll is going to give 3 extra points for each star that you have in your dungeon at the end of the game. Stars are already worth 3 victory points, so that's basically meaning that stars are now worth 6 victory points apiece, meaning that may influence the way you want to start building up your dungeon, because not all of these tiles have stars on them. Next up, we are going to have Umbriel, the Lady of Shadows, who is just a shadow, which is kind of cool. But basically, this one is going to give the player who has the most L shapes in their dungeons going to have an extra 10 victory points in the game. The person who has the second most has gained 4 victory points, and the third place, since we're showing a 3-player game right here, gets nothing when it comes to the victory points for that. Next thing we need to do is every single one of our players is going to get 6 cards. We're going to get 3 shape goal cards and 3 decoration goal cards. And we're going to look at our hand of 6 cards, and 2 of them we're going to discard. Now, we don't have to discard 1 from each of the 3 decks. That's basically going to be 2 total cards, meaning that every single player is going to have 4 cards. Now in this game, you pretty much always have 4 cards for every single one of our players. So that's one thing we need to make sure is always having 4 cards as we play the game. But you can change out the layout of your hand by basically you won't always have the same amount. Sometimes you have 3 of one, 1 of another, 2 of each, or whatever it may happen to be. But generally speaking, your cards that you have in your hand are going to be unknown to all the other players. I don't think it's going to make for a very exciting video to watch through, so what I'm actually going to do is for the yellow player, I'm actually going to play with the yellow player's hand out in the open. That way, when you're seeing the yellow player make the decisions, you can understand why we're making these kind of decisions as we're playing the game. I think that's going to give you a really good indication of how the game plays by seeing the open hand and go, hey, I see why you're doing this because you have that 1 card that can give you some victory points and be kind of cool. So for the yellow player, like I said, I'm just going to simply lay out their victory point cards so you can see them right here as the yellow player builds out their dungeon. I think that'd be pretty darn awesome for you guys to see that. Going to give you a really good idea of exactly how the gameplay goes. I'm not going to do that for the black player, but as I'm playing the red player pretty much as the main me, whatever, however you want to say it. You'll see me having my hand out occasionally, but I'm not going to have the actual hand displayed fully for all of you to see. But that's the basic idea. But let's go ahead and go through all these 6 decks of cards for all of our players and figure out exactly which deck of cards or what cards all of our individual players are going to keep. So let's go ahead and start with the yellow player first. Now remember, when you're picking your cards at the start of the game, all you know are the dungeon bosses, so that kind of gives you an idea of what kind of stuff you want to be building up. But you don't know what the starting tiles are, and that can kind of influence your decisions, and you also don't know what the other players are having in their hand of cards. So you're basically trying to find as much synergy as you can with your starting hand of cards and trying to find things that are not really difficult to do. Because if you get a whole bunch of cards that are either really impossible to get started or very impossible to make happen, you're basically going to flounder in this game. And this is definitely one of those games that's not afraid to let you flounder. You can actually suck at this game really badly and have other players lap you in the scores. Yes, I've seen that happen. So we're going to start here. This is the yellow player's hand. Now remember, we are required to discard 2 cards face down so the players don't see it. And I'm seeing that this one's pretty easy to make. We just need to get a 2x3 formation for a dungeon. That's not going to be hard. I'll go ahead and put that right there for the yellow player. The U-Haul looks, that's not too bad, and that's 7 victory points. So it's basically a room, hallways, and then a room. Not too bad, but it's going to conflict with that card right there. So let's go ahead and get rid of that shape goal. I don't think it's going to be that good. We can get this one. 1 colored room, 1 colored hallway. It's only worth 4 victory points. Well, let's see what else we got here. Coffin, that's going to be very easy to make happen. I don't see that being a problem. This one may be a little bit tougher. We need to have these shapes all the way around a room, which can be a little bit challenging, but this one looks a lot easier. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these 2 cards, forming our starting hand of 4 cards. We have 2 shape goals, and then we have 2 decoration goals. That shouldn't be too hard for us to figure out and to make that happen for the yellow player. Next up for the red player, we see we need to have a yellow and a green room. Not too bad unless those tiles never come out. This is 2 decorations, a hallway, and a room with 2 decorations again. That can be kind of interesting. This one is a pain in the butt to get going, so I'm not even going to try that one. I've tried that one before and I've failed miserably. I'm not going to try again. A hallway with webs, a hallway with torches, or a room with books. Not a lot of victory points. So we have a whole bunch of low scoring things. I think I kind of want to keep this just because it's more victory points. And this is real easy. It could coincide with that pretty darn easy. And let's just get rid of this one. So that is the hand for this player right here. So we're going to go for green and yellow, cobwebs in a hallway, a room with books, and 2 decorated rooms, 2 decorated rooms in a hallway. That shouldn't be too hard to do. Maybe a decent start for us. Over here to black, who is going to have Offices of Doom. I hate that card. That one drives me crazy. Orange and red, that one's not too bad. Let's see here, the T-junction. That one's not too hard as long as we build for it smartly right in the beginning. But that one could be a lot of victory points. That could not be too hard to do, but we can't have this be in the same room. So there is no synergy among any of these 3 rooms at all. Well, actually, there's some synergy right here. Table and books. Actually, there's a heck of a lot of synergy right here. I can get these 2 cards out of the same room. So let's get rid of this card right there. Because table, book, table, book. So if I just make the 3rd shape, the gear, or the pit opening thing mechanism right here, that one shouldn't be that hard to do. I think I can actually do that. So while I'm not too happy about the T-junction, I'm pretty happy about the other things. That does not look too hard at all for that. That's basically it for our setup for our players. Our player order is randomly selected, yellow, black, and red. And of course, this order is going to change as we play through the game. But let's just go ahead and start the game with the yellow player. But first thing we need to do is we need to seed the board with all the corridors that all of our players can possibly start auctioning for. Now, the basic way this draft is going to work, and I know I said auction, well, just ignore me, I chose the wrong word there. But the basic way this draft is going to work is we're going to draft in player order. We're going to have 4 tiles available to all our players. Doesn't matter if you're playing 2, 3, or 4 player game, you always have the same amount of tiles. And the order you pick is also going to possibly affect the player order from the following round. So if this player picks this tile right here, they're going to go last in the next round. And if this person picks this tile right here, they're going to go first in the next round. That's just basically how it works. But let's go ahead and figure out what our first 4 tiles happen to be. And these tiles need to be put out in numeric order, so we need to make sure we're checking the numbers. We have a 69, a 144, we have a 126, and then finally we have the magic number 51. So this is pretty easy. 51 goes right there, 69 is going to go right there. 126 goes right there, and 144 goes right there. Now you always put the dungeon tiles out there with the decoration side up, and it's actually easy to tell what the other side of the tile is just by looking at the decoration side. We can see that the other side of this is going to be a purple hallway, and it's going to be a hallway going up, down, left, right, whatever you want to say, but it basically has 2 exits from it. We can also see that it's going to be a hallway because of the direction. We can see because of the purple color, and if we flip over, we can see that, by Jove, yes, it is a purple hallway. We can look over this decoration side right here, and we see that there's actually only 1 decoration, and this is a wild card, so we know this is a room without any color. And oh my gosh, by Jove, yes, it's a room. And over here we can see that this is going to be an elbow corridor. Remember, elbows are great because elbows are worth 10 victory points if we have most of them, and yes, there's the elbow. And this one we see is going to be a T-junction that's going to be red. Bingo, red T-junction. I know this player right here needs red. Let's see here, and I believe the yellow player needs a room of any color, and they need a hallway of any color. So let's go ahead and look and figure out what the yellow player wants to do first, looking at our possible corridors that we want to go ahead and gather. I'm thinking that we're going to just start with a super duper easy decision for the yellow player. We need a color, and that color needs to connect to a room of a color. There's no colored rooms out here, so let's go ahead and get the ball rolling for the yellow player. The yellow player is going to claim this section right here, and that is basically the draft tile phase. And if I didn't mention before, and I know I didn't mention before because I'm recording this video, so I know what I've done already here, but the way the basic flow of this game is going to go is players are not going to do the drafting all at once. One player is going to draft, and they're going to take their entire turn. The next player is going to draft, take their entire turn, and then finally the final player is going to draft and take their entire turn. There's also a spot here which allows you to draft directly from the bag, and any tiles not claimed are going to be removed from the game. So this game does play pretty much in about 60 minutes to 75 minutes. Not too hard for the game to go that quickly. So yellow is going to take this tile right here, and let's go ahead and switch to the yellow player so we can see exactly why they're going to do what they're going to do. So the yellow player, like we see for this victory point here, for a whole measly 4 victory points, if they can get a colored corridor and then a colored room, they can cash that in and score 4 victory points for going ahead and taking care of that. Additionally, if we get a 3x2 hall of corridors, which means corridor, 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 corridor. That's a lot of corridors to say rapidly. Try saying that 6 times fast. But if you do that, we can go ahead and cash that in for 7 victory points. So this tile is actually a nice double benefit for us. Let's just go ahead and add that right here down at this location right here. And that is basically it for the yellow player's turn. Except for now, what we would normally do, we would be at the chance after we build, we'd score if we did. And then we'd refill our hand if we managed to score any of our cards. We didn't. So like I said, that's going to be it for the yellow player's turn. Now we get to look over at the red player. Now the red player, we know have a lot of options. We're looking for green and yellow. We are looking for spider webs. We are looking for a book that we can put on a room. There's no rooms out here at all. And we're also, yep, you guessed it, we're also looking for rooms. So looking at everything I am seeing here, we need room, no rooms available. We need cobwebs, no cobwebs available. And we need green and yellow, no green and yellow available. So looking at all this, let's just go ahead and figure out what we can do. Wait, I forgot, we do have a room right here, so I was actually being dumb by saying that. We do have a room. So I think that kind of basically answers my question right there. Let's go there. Let us claim the room, and we will put the room right here just like this. Now again, the reason why we were doing this is because we need a decorated room, a hallway, and a decorated room. So we know we're going to put that decorated room right there. That will be an easy decision for us right there. We have builded, well, we've done the build phase. There's nothing to score, so let's go ahead and move on to the black player, who is also going to look at their hand and all the available tiles. Remember, we need orange and red. There's a red. We need rooms and hallways. We need books and tables, and we also need gears right here. So I'm thinking we are going to take the red right now because that's going to satisfy a couple of our different things, especially if I get this Emberry and the stylish lava fountain to work together. So let's start working towards this together right here and right now. If I get a room here and a room here, I can claim that quite easily. So let's go over here, claim this. We will take this tile and we will fix and flip it over to our red side. This basically means that we need to put an orange here, here, or here. By the way, we are laying this out, but let's go ahead and lay this out just like this right here, right now. And we know we're now working towards these 2 victory points right here. And did I really want to do that? Did I? Yes, that's exactly what I wanted to do. That's basically it for the first round. Now this tile, since it was not purchased by anybody, it will be removed from the game. And now we get to go ahead and start the next round. And all we do for the next round is we draw 4 more tiles. and move on to the next round. Again, tiles we put out in order based on the numeric order that is right here. So we have 45, we have 18. We have a star. Remember, we're looking for stars for Diana, the creepy doll. And that is going to be a 210 tile. And that's going to be a hard one if it makes it this far, because we know that this player needs our tables, right? Tables. Yes, we need a table. Table, table, table. Yes. And then finally, we have a room. Now, this is going to be the very first room that we're going to get that's going to have an assistant action. Anytime we see a tile with a symbol in the center, that means we're going to get that assistant if we claim that tile. And assistants give us various different uses. Mimics allow us to make any one of these green things temporarily for one scoring phase, or actually I should say one scoring action, not the entire scoring phase, to be any shape we want it to be. That can be pretty darn powerful, especially with these shapes right here. The symbol that we don't have available right here is one that allows us to actually start adjusting and moving our dungeon around any way we want. Well, that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and add these out there. 18, 45, whoops, 210, make sure I get this in correct order, and then finally 273. And now that we see from the layout of our board, red gets to go ahead and draft the first tile for this round. So the red player, we can look at our hand, and remember we need a room right here, and we do have a lot of room options. We also need to get books. I don't see any books out there, although the mimic icon is very tempting. But if we go for the room, it guarantees that we get first draft next round. And other thing is spiderwebs, don't see any. I don't see a green or yellow room. So basically, our decision for this round is pretty darn easy for us. We're going to take the Gallery of Evil, or at least work towards the Gallery of Evil. We will go there. That is going to be our draft the tile action. We did not get an assistant, so we don't need to worry about. So let's go ahead and build, and we will add this room tile right here. We're not going to score anything, so we're not going to need to refill our hand of cards. That is basically it for red. Now let's go over to the yellow player. Now we know for the yellow player, we are trying to get 6 corridors in a room, or in a row. We're trying to find a room that has color in it. We don't have any rooms out there that have color, at least not in this current draft round. We're also trying to get a coffin outside a room, but we don't even have a room, so we don't need to worry about that. We're also trying to get some swords and some torches outside a room. Well, we don't have a room at all at this time, so we don't really need to worry about that at all. So we basically know we're just trying to go ahead and score this card right here, right now. So having said that, we know as the yellow player, we want one of these ones that has a corridor on it. Well, this one has a star, which we know is going to be worth 6 victory points for us at the end of the game because of the boss and because of the card itself. So let's go ahead and draft that one, because I think that is going to be our best decision. I will take this right here, and where do we want to put this? Let's just make our decisions nice and simple and nice and easy. We'll put it right here. This is 6 victory points for us, and again, we're starting to match up for this card right here. That is basically it for the player for the yellow action. And now we get to go over to the black player and figure out what they want to do. Now remember, we are trying to get rooms, because if we get 2 rooms on a side, I can get a room here, get a room here, decorate that room, get a tile or for a corridor down here, and then I can score this. And again, I need to make sure this or this is orange. So I need to make sure I'm paying a lot of attention for that. So I know I need to decorate rooms. So I'm thinking our decision for black is pretty darn easy. We will go there, meaning that nobody is going to get a mimic this round. But let's go ahead and add this on, and I need a T-junction, right? Yep, T-junction. Let's go ahead and add that right there. Let's move the red bag out of the way just a little bit. And that is it. This tile right here was not purchased by anybody, so this tile will also be removed from the game. I will put these on a side where I don't make a mistake and accidentally grab them, because that would not be funny. That would be it for the end of round number 2, and let's now go to round number 3. 4 tiles again. We got 243. We have 84, and that is going to be a purple tile. We have 309, and then finally we have the magical number 279. So 84, 243, 279, and 309. Again, we actually have some assistance. This is going to be the Goblin Sapper, which allows us to take one of these generic room tiles. That can be pretty darn nice, because especially since we can put in our storage shed here area and use that at a later turn, or use it at the exact same time. That could be our option. Again, we have the mimic. Actually, we have 2 of the mimics, and now we have a lot of decisions. Of course, red gets to go first. So let's go ahead and look at all the cards for red. Red knows that they need to decorate here and here at least 2 times. We need a bookshelf to be one of those decorations. I don't see a bookshelf at all. And we need spiderwebs, and we need green and yellow. Guess what? There's no green and yellow, so we are not doing that. There are no spiderwebs, so we're definitely not doing that either. There's no There's no library. So that doesn't help us at all. So we can't, well, we can do any kind of decoration we want to really, really work on the gallery of evil. So let's just work on the gallery of evil. Mwahaha. You gotta sound really dramatic when you say the gallery of evil. What I'm thinking about though is I'm thinking I want to get at least one mimic token. So let's be greedy. Let us move here. We will get this dungeon tile right here. We will claim one mimic token. Remember, mimics can be used at any time at a later date to go ahead and score a card, and then we are going to take this. Now I could use this as another room, which would be pretty darn dumb because then I'm going to really, really limit my options of what I can do on future terms because my dungeon's going to be pretty much one trick pony at that point. Don't want to do that, so let us place this out here. Now I could place this, yeah, I'm just going to do it. I'm not even going to talk about it. I am just going to be smart about it, and I'll put this here just like this. This means that I can probably get a double scoring off of that tile, potentially if I play smart or if things just work out in my favor. And maybe they will. So now that the red player is done, we get to go over to black, and black again, we are working towards these T-junctions. We know we want a room. By Jove, we have a room over here. That almost makes our decision super duper easy. So we will go here and we will claim this tile. Now this is going to be the Goblin Sapper, which means we can take one of these generic hallway tiles. Now this is either be a room or a hallway. I can place it now, or I could wait. I'm going to wait just because I think that's what I want to do. And until the tile is placed down here, we can use either side of this, so it doesn't matter what side I lay it down. And then we will take this right here for its room, and I will place it just like that. Now I could put it down right here and get possibly closer to scoring this one tile or this one card right here, but I'm really trying to leave my options open in case an orange tile appears. If I get an orange hallway, I want to have options of where I can place it just in case it's a funky shape, and I don't want to pigeonhole myself too darn much. So now over to the yellow player. Now again, yellow is basically looking at everything we have, and we know that we have hallways, we have a room with a color. We don't see a colored room yet. We have torches and swords, and then we have a coffin on a room. Well, we don't have a room yet, and both these require a room, so we don't need to worry about that at all. So let's go ahead and figure out what we want to do. This is a corridor. This is a corridor also, but that corridor could give us a mimic, which we may need to rely on a later date. Both of these corridors are basically the same. One's colored, one isn't. That's a purple corridor. This one is a non-colored corridor. But if you look at our scoring card right here, you can see that if we have more different colors than the other players, we're going to gain victory points. If we have the most common color, we're also going to gain extra victory points. So technically, this tile right here is worth more victory points to us because we already have one purple. If we get a second purple, we can start working towards the most common of that color. So I'm thinking this is a smarter tile. So let's go yellow to right here. And we will take this tile, and I am just simply going to place this tile just like this. Do I think it's the best decision? Yeah, we'll see how it works out for us. But at least it gives us a couple different options, and maybe I can get that room built over here because I have a colored corridor. I just need to get a colored room to put right there, and maybe things are going to work out for us. We'll be able to score really, really well by doing that. That's going to end the round. This tile was not claimed by any of our players. Let's remove it from the game, and yep, now we just draw 4 more tiles again. Hey, there is our first elbow. Now we're all going to be fighting for the elbow for the simple fact that that is going to be worth possibly 10 victory points because nobody has an elbow yet. So we have 330, 147, we have the magic 81, and we have the magic 285. So 81 will go right there, 147 will go right there, 285 right there, 330 right there. Let's go ahead and start with the yellow player. So the yellow player for the turn kind of has a couple decisions of what they want to do right here. Remember, we're trying to get the victory points. If we can manage to get this card right here into play, which means we need 2 more corridors right here. We also see that we do have all corridors right here except for this one is a room. Unfortunately, it's not a colored room, and we are looking for a colored room right now, at least for the yellow player. So I could take this, and this would be an elbow, which would help us get towards Lady of the Shadows. That's 10 victory points at the end of the game. Not a bad decision. We could take this one, which will be a T-junction, which will allow us to actually start manipulating the layout of our dungeon, which could also be a really good decision. But that also means we're going to pick last in future rounds. We're basically trying to stay picking first as much as possible for the yellow player, because we know we are looking for a very specific tile. We need a colored room. If it never comes out, that card is basically wasted dead space in our hand. So I'm thinking, due to those kind of decisions, it almost makes sense for us to go ahead and pick this, because we're kind of forced to do this because we need to make sure we're getting an early choice. Otherwise, we're basically just going to be screwed in later turns and we're going to lose out. So let's go ahead and claim this tile right here. We will claim this tile and we will add it onto our board, and this is going to be an elbow junction, and I want to put it right here because that way if I get another elbow junction right here, things will actually be pretty darn good for us, because that means not only are we going to get victory points for Umbriel, Lady of the Shadows, but also means we're going to go ahead and score this card finally, which could be very, very cool. We could have also went for the room, but again, my big goal is I want to get a colored room and then decorate that colored room and get the victory points off that. I'm trying to get as many victory points as many victory points as I can at the same time for the yellow player. That's basically my plan because, hey, it just sounds like a fun, cool thing to do. But now we're back over to the red player. Now the red player, go ahead and show our hand here again. We need decoration, 10 victory points. We need a room with books. That is going to be 4 victory points. No books out again, but we do have a mimic. We need a hallway with cobwebs. Well, we don't really have much cobwebs, or we don't have much hallways at all to really speak of. And we need green and yellow. What I am thinking we really, really want to do at this point is avoid being pigeonholed, because we are starting to really kind of close in our dungeon here if we're not very, very careful. Now, the interesting thing about this, I'm going to pick this tile, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. But if we build a tile like this, this is a legal move, but a dungeon tile can never ever turn into a decoration. A dungeon tile can turn into, if I had something right here, it can kind of dead end into another catacomb tile or a room tile, but it can never dead end into a decoration tile. That's totally illegal. So I'm thinking this T-junction right here could be a good choice for us, but this T-junction right here, also the same thing, rules with the dead ends and everything like that, is basically going to do the same thing, and we're really not caring what tiles we get right now because it seems like the tiles aren't really that big of a deal for us. Our cards are kind of nice and easy to score. We're just basically trying to build up our dungeon right now, so we're not really sweating it right now. So going in later turns is not that big of a deal, but gaining the ability to actually start changing things from the arcane architect and actually rearrange our rooms or dungeon tiles could be really, really powerful. So do I ensure early good decisions, or do I get an extra action? I think I'm going to go for the extra action. So we will claim this. I will take this dungeon tile right here, which is going to come with the arcane architect. I now have a mimic and an arcane architect, and now I have this tile. I'm going to add this tile right here onto our dungeon, and that's a nice, easy turn for us. That's pretty easy for me to do. Nice, easy thing to figure out. Now we get to go over to black. Now remember, black is trying to work on decorating this. We're also trying to work on getting this right here, and we also need a corridor that is going to be orange. We're basically trying for a lot of things right now. We're also trying to get a room that has all of these decorations on it. The most likely room I'm going to be able to do that with is going to be this room right here, because I need 3 decorations around it. So we need a gear, a table, and a book. I don't see a gear, I don't see a table, and I don't see a book. Well, we do have options, kind of, but you know what? I am thinking that this room is going to be a pain in the neck to get, although maybe, maybe not. Do I go for it? Well, basically this is the thing about the game. This is a typical kind of game where if you sit there and bullheadedly refuse to change your strategies ever, you're going to lose. You need to be willing to say, hey, this is never going to happen. Screw it. I'm moving on. There's no way in heck I'm going to get this to happen. But it's victory points, and I really, really want to make it happen. And plus we do have options, and we do have one open room, and we probably want early decisions later on, and we could probably put that to use at a later date. So let's just go right here, take this tile, and let's just add this tile right here. Now remember, it can be either way until it's built onto our dungeon, and now we have some optional tiles and some positional things that we can do at later turns. And well, we're actually thinking that things are going a-okay for us right here, right now. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and fix this really quick because black's turn was the one to take that tile. Red went there, but hey, that's okay. That's what happens when you try and play multiple players and sound like you kind of know what you're doing here. So that is it for all of our players. We all claimed our tiles. This tile is going to be removed from the game. Let's go ahead and start the next round by drawing 4 tiles out. Hey, we got a couple more rooms. None of them are colored. Boy, black is going to be really happy with all the things we're getting right now. So we have 177, 276, 255, and 267. So that's pretty darn easy. We have 177 right there. We have 255 right there, 267 right there, and 276. So we actually see that we have a new assistant icon that came out right now. We have the Burrow Bros. What they're going to do is we're going to get to draw 2 more tiles out of the bag, and we get to pick one of the 3 to keep, which is kind of fun. But we've seen what the Arcane Architect can do, but let's go ahead and figure out what we're going to do, starting with the yellow player. Now again, we kind of know what the yellow player is doing, and I'm pretty much knowing what I want to do with the yellow player because it's going to be the most victory points. But it's pretty much an easy thing because we got room. None of them are colored. We know we need a colored room because that's what we need for yellow, and it's just not happening. So this is basically 6 victory points for us if we take that right there. Or we could go ahead and kind of change up our victory point cards because our victory point cards are just kind of being lame right now. I am thinking that we're just going to go for victory points because, hey, victory points are a lot of fun, and I think that's going to be the best thing to do for us, at least right here. And not only that, this move is going to reinforce what I explained to you about the rules earlier, which means that corridors can dead end into corridors. They can't dead end into decorations. So yellow is simply going to claim this tile right here, and then we will add this tile to our board right here. And again, we can place this any way we want because it can dead end into other tiles. Not going to be a problem. And again, that's going to be another 6 victory points for us at the end of the game. So we're pretty much already at 12 victory points in the game. But now I get to actually show you what it looks like when somebody gets the score. And we are going to score this card right here. So to score this card right here, and again, these cards can be scored any way like this. I could have laid the direction out anyway. I can even make it inverted. That's not a big deal. But we are going to gain 7 victory points for this because we have a 2x3 section of corridors only. So we will take this card and we will score it. So we will place it face down, and I'll just stick it right here to let you know that is a scored card. And then yellow will be the first one to score anywhere on the victory point track. And now that we have 7 victory points for yellow, now the next thing that yellow needs to do is they need to refill their hand of cards because you always have to have 4 cards in your hand. The nice thing is you can take it from either one of these stacks. It doesn't really matter. You have those options. Now, the thing you have to be very careful with later rounds, if you don't have any Arcane Architects, shape goals can kind of be a little bit tricky, but they can also be kind of easy to score because sometimes you may have a shape that you've already created and be like, oh, done, score, victory point. So I'm going to do that. We will take this shape goals card right here, and we will, hey, be really happy about this because we can actually do this one because look, all we need is a room. Doesn't matter what color. We just need purple. We got purple. And then we need to put a room at the end of it. Done, easy, easy. Although that is going to make it much, much harder to score this card right here, meaning that we now have a conflict. Dum, dum, dum. The conflict of the cards. Oh well, we'll figure out when it comes to that time. So let's go ahead and add that over to yellow. We know that is what yellow needs to do. And now we get to go to black. Let's look at black's hand of cards. Well, we know what we are trying to score. We need orange. Orange is not appearing. All we have are a whole bunch of rooms. We don't need rooms. We do not need rooms. So now you get to see the other option of things that you can do on your turn. You can take this slot right here, which basically means you are going to reach into the mighty magic bag of corridor catacomb tiles and pull one out, and you will claim it. And you will go, oh gee, that is definitely not what I needed or wanted at all. Well, options. We like options. Actually, wait. Is a torch what we needed? Did we need a torch? Was that one of the things? Nope, wasn't one of the things we needed. Okay, well, we don't need that. So let's do this. I will take this and place it just like that. I'll move up the board right here. And let's take this room and place it like this. And hopefully we'll get some cards. But looking at our hand of cards, we see that things are just not going our way. I don't want to be handicapped by needing a orange corridor for the rest of the game. So I'm going to say we're done with this. Goodbye that card, and now we need to replace that card. And let's go ahead and replace it with this card right here. And we need the Witch's Walk. Oh, that's going to be just as easy for us to build as, well, everything else because nothing else is going in our favor right now. So now we get to go over to the red player, and red gets to pick some decisions. Well, we have room, room, or room. So I think we're going to go for room, unless we can get a symbol that actually allows us to decorate really, really well. We don't have yellow, don't have green. We don't have books. We could take any kind of decoration we wanted if we wanted to take another architect, which, you know, what the heck, why don't we just do that? Let's take this. That means we get early chances later rounds. We now have this room with 2 decorations on it. Let's take our arcane architect. And that room is decorated twice. That's still not much. We still need to do a heck of a lot more. We're done. That is it for all of our players. These 2 tiles are not claimed by anyone, so they are removed from the game. And now let's draw 4 more tiles. 306, 360, 39. Oh my gosh, we finally have a gear. Too bad we still don't have the colors that we're needing. 66. So 39, 66, 306, and the mighty 360. Hey, at least the mighty 360, not only is it a T-junction, it also has a star. That's 6 points for anybody who wants it. Who wants 6 points right here, right now? Well, let's start with the yellow player. So yellow, looking at their cards, we know we need a sword, we need a torch, and we need a coffin. There's a sword, but that counting gets rid of 6 victory points. But it stops other people from getting it. But we don't have a room, so it doesn't really matter. We need a room. So we need a room that is... Well, let's just keep the first player ball rolling. Let's take this one. We will add this card. We add this tile right here like this. And then that means we get to score this card right here because we have purple into a room. By Jove, we have purple into a room. That is going to be a hole. 3 victory points for us, so we will place this down like this, and then we will go from 7 all the way up to 10 victory points. Woohoo, we're really trucking now. So that is it for the yellow player. Now we get to go over to the red player. Again, looking at our hand, we know decorate, decorate. We need books. Is there a book out there? Is there? No. Oh boy, there's still not a book. Still, after all this time, still not a book. Well, we are just booking right now. The wonderful puns. Let's just go over here. 6 victory points, and that allows us to use the Burrow Brothers. So we're going to draw 2 tiles from the bag, and we will take one of these tiles to keep if we want. Whoa, look, orange, and a 4-way, and a star. Well, that does kind of change things. And it also makes black looking over going, why? Why could that not have been me? Because I needed the orange before I gave up on it, but apparently you're not going to get it anyways. So, any books? No. 4-way, maybe. Yeah, let's just do this. So these 2 will go away. Remove them out of the game. We will take this one because that is now going to be 6 victory points for us. Are we going to score anything? No, we're not. Do we have any chance to score anything? No, not yet. Are we pretty much done with our turn? Yes, we're done with our turn. So that is red. Now we get to go over to black. Looking at our hand of everything handy dandy, wonderful, maybe wonderful, could be wonderful, maybe not so wonderful. We need a corridor. Let's go ahead and, oh, we also need a decoration. Well, we have a corridor, we have a decoration. Let's do it like this. We're going to go ahead and try to score this card right here, right now, because we actually have stuff. So let's go right here. I could have done that. Oh, that'd be an elbow. I could actually do the elbow because of the Lady of Shadows. Do I do that? Maybe. Do I do that? That's actually not too absolutely atrociously horrible. Nah, we're not going to do that. We will take this tile like we thought, and this will be an elbow junction. And we will place this elbow junction, we'll place the elbow junction just like this. We will take this tile right here, and we need this to be decorated. So let's do, what did we need? Do we have hallways, rooms, anything? No. So let us do that, just because it looks like fun. Why not? So now that we look at this, we see that we have scored this card. So let's place this right here. So we see we have corridor, 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 room decorated, undecorated room. So we now have 8 victory points for us. So let's go ahead and score 8 victory points right there. And did we score anything else? No, we did not score anything else. So let's go ahead and take another card. Do we take a decoration or shape? Let us take a decoration. Let's see what we get. We will get a hallway with a sword and a key. Well, we can probably make that happen. But that's it for this round. We will go ahead and discard this tile right there. And then now let's go ahead and draw out 4 more tiles. And we will get 4, not 5. Don't want to cheat. 342. Wow, lots of blue, because we're getting very, very sad here because of all the tiles are not coming out in our favor. So let's go ahead and place these out there. Number 180, number 222, number 324, and finally number 342. Guess who's first? Yellow, because yellow keeps locking in first place. Let's go ahead and look at what yellow can do. Yellow knows they need a colored room, and you know what? I forgot to replace yellow's card when they scored. Oh, darn it, I cheated. I'm a horrible human being. Okay, well, you guys will forgive me. I will just take a decoration goal because that seems super duper easy. And look, we just got to decorate a room. And it needs to have a flag and a table. Well, that kind of makes our decision super duper easy. We need a flag and a table. Can we find a flag? Can we find a table? We can find both. What's going to give us earlier turn order and future turns? The flag. Well, that makes that an easy decision. We will take this, and because this is going to be worth 10 victory points, and we will lay this out. Let me move over these cards just a little bit. Hopefully they're still on camera so everybody can see it. And I will take the flag. And the flag will go right there. So now we just know that we need to find a table. Shouldn't be that hard to do at all. Next up is black. Black is just, what are we doing here? We know we need a sword, we know we need a key, we know we need a table, we know we need books, and a gear, and we need this, and we need this, and we need that. But out of all the things we really, really need, one gives us first place in future turns. Well, gosh, I think our decision is going to be kind of a brainless one. So let's take the super duper brainless decision, and let's go ahead and go for the gear. Why? Because that'll give us first place in future turns. Why do we want first place? Because, hey, it gives us first choice. So that'll be it. We are done. And now we get to go over to the red player. Red is still trying to get on the scoreboard because guess what? Red has 0 victory points. Oh, no, wait, I lied. We have 6 victory points. We're in last place. I need to decorate this and this. And I need books. Are there books out there? Of course there's no books. Why would there be books? Books would make things super duper easy. So actually a T-junction is probably the best thing for me to have right now because that gives me the options later and it gives me 6 victory points. I will take this. Comes with another arcane architect. I'm starting to pile up on arcane architects. I will take this tile right here. Remember, we can't dead end into a decoration tile, so it basically means it's going to go like this, or like this. Those are our wonderful options, but hey, at least it's a wonderful option of 6 victory points. This tile right here is not claimed by any of our players. 4 more tiles. Oh, and I cheated and grabbed 5. That's bound to happen. It's always bound to happen. Let's do this slowly. 2 and 4. 294, 111, 282, and 102. 102, 111, 282, and 294. Now starting with black. We know what black needs. Black needs a key, right? Do you need a key? No, you need a table. You need oh no, you also need the books. Hey, wow. So nice when the turns are just pretty much brainlessly easy to figure out. Let's see here. Key, right? It's the key to our victory is the key, right? I mean, the books. No, the key to our victory is the books. So the key to victory is studying, and that's all that means. So we almost scored. Did we make it? No, we still need a table, right? That's all we need is a table. Get a table, we'll get 27 victory points. That will be kind of nice. I guess that decides where future turns are going to be. Let's look over at yellow now. So yellow needs a table. Yellow needs a coffin. Yellow needs a sword. Yellow needs a torch. If we take the torch, that basically means that we have to hold out for a table, but that's not gonna work. That's gonna be dumb. That's gonna be super duper dumb. Let us not do that. So the easy thing to do would be to go to the coffin, and then we take the coffin, then we just gotta look for a table, and we'll be able to score 2 cards, so let's just do the easy, obvious move here. So we'll take the coffin, and ooh, that's not even gonna work either. Wow, we just kind of built ourselves into a horrible little pickle here. Horrible, horrible little pickle. I will, well, you know what? Actually, this isn't a horrible little pickle. Let's take this, take the other side of it. We'll go with the elbow right here because We like the Lady of Shadows, and that's going to be green. That's going to be another tile for the extra victory points in the game, so that's actually not that big of a deal at all. If we look over here, we see that we have green, we have an elbow. We are currently, I think we're in the lead on elbows. We are in the lead for elbows, so that's 10 victory points we're looking at right now so far. We have 6 victory points times 2 because of Dan and the creepy doll, thanks to these things right here. We also have 2 purple, so that's going to be 2 victory points right there. We have 2 different colors right now, so that's going to be 2 victory points for us. So we're actually looking pretty darn decent. We're doing okay as a yellow player. That's why we are going to lay out just like that. Let us go to the red player now. Red needs to decorate a room. But we need a book. Did a book ever appear? Of course not. Why would we get a book? That'd make our lives way, way, way too easy. So, do we take a goblin sapper? Yeah, we don't need a goblin sapper. That's not going to help us. Do we take a dead end? Do we take a room? Nope. All of our options are really just terrible. So, let's go ahead and go over here, and then we will draw from the bag, and we're probably going to get rid of one of our cards. Well, that's kind of nice. We have a star, but did we get any of the symbols we needed, which was a book? Nope, of course not, no book. That'd make our lives way too easy. So let's just, it's 6 victory points. And let's just put it right there. And I'm going to adjust this just a little bit so it fits on the table just a little bit better. That's 6 victory points for us. Let's look at our hand of cards. Is there any card that we want to get rid of? I am thinking that the indoor swimming bog is just not going to happen for us because colors aren't happening. Let's get rid of that. Shape or decoration? Let's go for decoration. Maybe we'll get a decoration that actually works in our favor. I mean, miracles could happen. We got a hallway with a gear and a torch. And when we say miracles could happen, we mean that they're not going to happen for this game. Okay, so these 2 tiles are gone. Next round, 4 more tiles. There's 2. Hey, gold. 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 Oh, wait, we just got rid of that card. Of course, that's how it works out. 312, 228, 195, and hey, the magical 21. 195, 228. And 312. And of course, black gets to go first. Now, looking at our hand of cards for black, we know that we just still need a table, right? Are we still looking for a table? We are looking for a table. And that would come with a burrow brother. But we can always keep that tile. I mean, we won't get good placement, but we will gain a lot of victory points. So do we want victory points, or victory points? I'm going to go with victory points. So we will take this over here, we will claim this tile, and Burrow Brothers says that we are going to take 2 tiles, and then we're going to pick one of the tiles to keep. Are we going to change our decision? Well, it really doesn't matter. A table is a table. So let's just take the table. And we will add the table right here onto our dungeon, which means that this room has now been decorated 3 times. So the decorations on this table showing our cards are, if we get a book, we have a book, we have a table, we have a table, and if we have a gear, we are going to score 16 victory points. So let's score this card, show it to all the players, score us 16 victory points, and we are going to go up to 24, jumping up really, really high. But look, we also see that we have book and table. Do we have book and table? Yes, we do. Show everybody another 11 victory points, and we're going to go all the way up to 35 victory points. Remember, red is still at 0. Black is now at 35. Let's go ahead and pick some new cards here. And let's go decoration just for grinsies. And, well, gosh, we're almost halfway there on that one. That's pretty darn easy. And let's go for shape. Well, that's a lousy shape. It could have been better, but hey, the shape of things to come, I guess. So that's it for black. Now we get to go over to yellow, and let's show the yellow table so we figure out why we're going to pick our decisions. So yellow needs a table. There are no tables available. Yellow also needs a room decorated with a coffin, or a torch, or swords, or a colored room. None of those things exist, but we do have a room. And if we get another room, maybe we can start decorating it. But we are looking for a colored room, which has yet to appear in the game. But hey, we do have purple, and 3 purple, if we have the most common, would be 6 victory points for us. So I'm thinking that's pretty much the no-brainer for us. Because if we look, we see purple right there. So let's go ahead and take the purple. And we will add this onto our board. And where do we want to add it? We want to add it somewhere fun. Somewhere that allows us to decorate corridors without really pigeonholing us way too much. So we're going to add it right down here. So now that we have purple, and lots of purple right here, we have a lot of victory points. Only player left to go is going to be red, and red needs a book. Is there a book? Of course not. Why would there be a book? I mean, we're only going for a whole 4 victory points, but apparently that's not going to happen. So we need a corridor. We need a corridor that actually has a side on it so we can actually decorate it, because right now we can't decorate worth a damn. So we can't decorate worth a damn. We can't do anything. We can't do anything. Why don't we get rid of this hallway card, which is never going to happen? So we will come to this location right here. We will reach into the mighty bag of wow. Just wow. So this is the fun of timing in basically any board game you play. So this tile right here allows me to grab 2 more tiles out of the bag and pick one of the 3 to keep. But before I do that, I need to decide if I want to get rid of one of these cards. What if I got a tile that actually works with one of our cards? Well, that's probably not going to happen. So let's go ahead and get rid of this hallway decoration goal right here, and I need to replace it with something. I'm going to go with decoration. Hopefully it's going to be a room decoration. Hopefully. Really hoping. It's not. It's a hallway decoration. And remember, we don't have many hallways. We have hardly any hallways at all. We have that mimic, and that's about it. Okay, well, we have this tile. Let's draw 2 more from the bag because of our Burrow Bros. And we will get this one, which is a table and a key. We will get a gear and a flag. Oh boy, we still do not have a library book. I guess we checked out too many library books, and the librarian's now after us because we're not allowed to have library books anymore. We could have a gear, we could have an elbow. There could be a red elbow, which could... Why don't we figure out how to fix our problems really quick? Because we appear to be having lots and lots of problems. If I put this right here like this, I could get the decoration here, which would possibly help us get that decorated because I can get a torch and a gear or a treasure chest and a sword. I think that's what I'm going to do. That's about my only options at this point. Plus, since it's a red tile, that actually helps us towards the different colors. We have 1 different color. That's 2 victory points, plus the 18 we already got, so that's not bad. It's not the 35 victory points that black has, but it's not terrible. So let's go ahead and get rid of these, and get rid of this, and now we need to draw 4 more tiles from the bag. And I think the bag is just about... Nope, there's still 5 left. I'm a dirty cheater every single time, just a dirty cheater. So we'll draw all but 1, not that one. And we will get 321, we will get 30, 120, and 327. So 30, 120, 321, and then finally 327. And we get to start with yellow. Now we know yellow needs a table. Are there tables? Nope, of course not. That'd be easy. And there's a mimic. We could take the mimic symbol and finally take care of that problem that we don't seem to be able to handle. But we also need a sword, and we also need a torch, and we also need a room. So we could do a room. Why don't we just do a room? We'll just take this room right here, and we will take this room, and we will place it right here down for the yellow player. That's it for yellow. Just so you can see exactly what we're doing. Yellow is just simply going to add this room tile right here. We're still not scoring anything much. We're still holding out hope that we're going to get a colored room, but yeah, I guess we're hoping against hope at this point. Next up is red, who, if I would have finished my turn properly, needs to figure out what we're going to do. We could use the Arcane Architect, we could use the Mimics, we could use Hope Beyond Hope, we could send prayers. We could do any one of those things. I think I'm just getting sick of things, so we're going to use the Mimic. We'll take that. That'll give us another Mimic. We will take this tile. We will place it down. What do we need? Key or sword? Treasure chest. Oh wait, it's a book. It's a miraculous book. Oh my gosh, I completely missed it. We did need a book. Wow. So we will take this just like this, and we still need to get 1 more decoration out. But we will score, and we will actually get on the scoreboard for once here. So we need a room with a library book on it. So I guess the library books are not overdue. I guess we did not make the librarian too darn mad today. So we'll score this, putting us at least finally on the score track with 4 victory points. And we'll put this tile down like this. Let us go ahead and draw, no, not decorations. Decorations hate us right now. Let's go with a shape. Let's see here. Can we make this shape at all with what we got going? Let's see here. I have no idea how we're going to get this shape going. I guess I could. Nope, can't do it there. Can't. Well, could I? Nope, can't do that. Well, we're going to be using those arcane architects sometime at least today, because guess what? Cards just aren't in our favor. That is going to be it for red. Black's turn is left. Let's see what we are looking for black. We need 2 on 2. Not going to happen anytime soon. Do we have a room with a skull on it? We do. Is there a table out there? Nope. Do we need a hallway with a sword and a key? Sword and key. Is there a sword? Hey, there is a sword. So why don't we go for the sword for the hallway? We'll go over here. We will take the sword, and let's go ahead and place the sword. Just actually, in case we need a skull at a later date, because we do have a skull. And that might lead us to a table later. If we find a table, life might be good for us. That's it. Let's discard this one. And guess what? We now get to start the red bag. And the red bag is the bag that's going to end the game. Nothing left in the blue bag. Let's go and toss the blue bag off to the side. And that'll be 225. Now let's see if we can get an hourglass out of here. So, shake it up really good, and we will pull out, here, our first hourglass. 2 more of these, and we can end the game. Put the hourglass right there for hourglass number 1. Hourglass number 2. This would be fun if we have a 3rd hourglass. Shaking up really good. James Bond, shaking, not stood. Okay, we have 270. Reaching back into the bag, and we get 132. Hey, 3rd hourglass. This is going to be the end of the game. Now, I actually get to show you guys how the scoring works in this game. So, since we got the 3rd hourglass, this actually means that since we drew all 3 hourglasses, and since this is during the setup, that's the end of the game. We are not even going to actually finish out this round. So, I will take these tiles, and we'll just move things out of the way, and let's go ahead and add up our scores for all the players. Now, the first thing we need to do when we're trying to figure out the scores is the first thing we are going to do is we're going to figure out how many stars we have, then we're going to figure out the different colors, and then we're going to figure out the most common color. Then we are going to score the boss goal points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this 1 player at a time so you can see the scores for all of our players. Let's add them up from there. So since we got yellow in first player order, let's go ahead and score all the points for the yellow player. So the first thing we do is we're going to get 3 points for every single star we have in our dungeon. So if we look over at yellow, we see that yellow currently has 2 stars in their dungeon. So that means they are going to gain a total of 6 victory points for that. So we're going to go from 10 all the way up to 16 victory points. Next thing we're going to look at is we are going to see how many different colors we have. We have purple and we have green, which means we have 2 different colors. So since we have 2 different colors, that's going to score us 2 points. We're going to go from 16 all the way up to 18. And then we're going to figure out how many tiles we have of the most common color we have. So that's going to be 3 purples that we have. So 3 purples is going to be worth 6 victory points. So we're going to go 18 all the way up to 24 victory points. Now we're going to go ahead and figure out how many victory points we're going to get for the boss goals. So what I should do is probably do that last, because we need to figure out how many elbow macaronis are going to score some extra victory points. So let's go ahead and do bosses last. Let's just go ahead and go over to black and start scoring the victory points for them. So we're going to gain 3 points for every star we have in our dungeon. We have 0 stars in our dungeon. We're going to see how many different colors we have. We currently have 2 different colors. We have a red and we have green. Now remember, decoration colors don't matter. It's the different catacombs and rooms. So since we have red and green, we have 2 colors. That's going to be 2 victory points for us, going from 35 up to 37. The most common color is, well, we have 1 of each color. So that's going to be 0 victory points for us. So that's going to be it for black. Let's go over to red. Red currently has 3 stars. That's going to be 9 points. That'll put us at a whole 13. Well, we're trailing really, really well over here with red. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out how many different colors we have. We have one different color, that's going to be 0 victory points. How many of those red tiles do we have? We have 1. That is also going to be 0 victory points. Woohoo, we're done on that one. Let's go ahead and figure out how many points Diana the creepy doll is going to give all of our players. Let's start with yellow. Yellow has 2 stars, so that's going to be 6 victory points for Diana the creepy doll, putting us up to 30 victory points. For black, we have 0 stars. And then finally for red, we have 3 stars. That's going to give us 9. That's going to put us all the way up to 22 victory points. Now we got to figure out Umbral, the Lady of the Shadows. The player with the most elbow macaronis is going to gain 10 victory points. And then the person with the second most is going to gain 4, which is going to be a tie for our players, because we see that yellow currently has a 1 and they have 2 elbows. We see that red only has 1 elbow, and we see that black only has 1 elbow. So that means that yellow is going to gain 10 victory points, going from 30 all the way up to 40. And since black and red are tied, they're each going to get 2 whole victory points. So black will gain 2, going from 37 to 39. Red will gain 2, going from 22 to 24. And we see that yellow and black had a tight battle all the way to the end, winning the game by 1 victory point, while red just pretty much floundered back in the background here, not really even managing to show up, losing the game by almost 16 victory points. That is a full game of Dungeon Decorators, a 2 to 4 player game from Slugfest Games. If you have any comments or questions, make sure you leave them down in the YouTube comments down below. I will definitely get to them as quick as I can. You can also feel free to email me at offtheshelfboardgamereviews. That's otsbgr@gmail.com. I'll definitely answer your email as quick as I can. If you enjoyed this video and you enjoy the video series, you enjoy the content I am putting out there, think about supporting the channel over on Patreon. Just $1 over in the tip jar on Patreon can help me cover my costs and help keep this channel growing strong. Remember, I do not run this channel with any sponsors of any kind, so everything is pretty much done out of my own pocket. The cost of the games, the equipment, everything like that, I pay for on my own pocket. So just one simple dollar in the tip jar. If I helped you make a good gaming decision or a good gaming purchase, toss $1 over in the tip jar over on Patreon. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this video series and this channel, click that like button, click that subscribe button, and as always, thanks for watching.